What is up, YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, bringing you yet another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. And today's opponent is a familiar face, Poli. We've actually battled him before here on the channel, and he always gives a good battle. You know, he always brings a pretty good team with some good strategies and stuff, and he's just a stand-up guy, so I enjoy battling him, and we had another good battle, so I'm like, you know what, we're going to post this. And yeah, so looking at the team preview here, it looks like he's running some kind of like Sun-ish team. You know, he's got Ninetales, you know, obviously that's going to be Drought. And you've got Venusaur that could either be a Mega Evolution or it could be like a Chlorophyll set. And then Volcarona obviously works very nicely in the Sun. So does Hydreigon with Fire Blast. And then Scizor actually works very well in getting rid of rock types that would pester the rest of the team. So that's that. I'm guessing Crobat's going to be his lead. And then on my side, I've got my Mega Manectric, I've got Noivern, Infernape, Trevenant, Gliscor, and Milotic, and I think you guys have seen all of those up until this point, so nothing really new here, just a good battle, so let's just get right on into it. And this was actually a longer battle. I think it was like around 40 turns. This is saying 42, so that's that. I'm not going to be speeding this up, though, because I don't really feel like it was stally. So we're just going to take it turn by turn and go from there. So, we got Crobat and we've got Sparks here to start this off. I'm going to Mega Evolve right off the bat, get the Intimidate off, because I'm expecting that he's going to go for a U-turn, because he can't really stay in here, and he's obviously going to outspeed with Crobat, because I did not, you know, get the actual speed stat of Mega Manectric yet. You know, I have to wait for the next turn for that to happen. So he is going to U-turn. And it doesn't do too much damage. He's going to go into his Hydreigon, which is also shiny. So we got like shinies everywhere here. I'm going to go for a Volt Switch with Sparks. And, you know, figuring he's going to go for the U-turn or just flat out switch out. That'll give me some momentum. So I'm going to switch out into my Starscream, Noivern. And this thing is actually a spec set with Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, U-turn, and Focus Blast. So, I actually really like this set. I don't know, I always forget about it in my box, so I just don't use it very often. But, okay, so he's going to go into his shiny Ninetales there. And I really thought he might go into Scizor at this point, you know, because he would resist the Draco Meteor, and then I would have to switch, and he could set up a Swords Dance or something. But, he ends up staying in with Ninetales, and that's why I went for the Flamethrower, and, you know, now I'm locked in, so he's just going to go for the Calm Mind, and I was doing okay damage for, you know, not being very effective, and for Ninetales being as bulky on the, you know, special side as it is. I feel like I was doing okay damage. He's going to go for the Psyshock there, and that doesn't really do anything at all, even after the Calm Mind. So I'm guessing that the investment here is going to be in HP and special defense. That would be my guess. He's going to go for the Overheat, and that almost kills, but not quite. Now he's going to get the special attack drop. I thought, again, he might switch out there, so I stayed in to kill him, because I wasn't sure if he was going to try to save Ninetales for later to come back and set up the Sun again, which is something that I might do, but he decides to just fodder it off there and get a safe switch off into his Scizor, and go for a Bullet Punch, which is also a good move. There's not really anything I can afford, you know, to come in and take a Bullet Punch from Scizor. Scizor's just too strong, and I wasn't sure at this point if Scizor was going to be his Mega either, so there's that to think about. So I go into my Mega Manectric to get the Intimidate off and scare him out, because I know that he knows I either have Flamethrower or Overheat. I end up going for Thunder Wave here to paralyze whatever he switches into, and he ends up switching into his Hydreigon. And that kind of sucks. I mean, Hydreigon isn't super fast to begin with, but being paralyzed as an attacking Pokemon is never good. So I'm going to Volt Switch out here because there's really nothing I can do to this Hydreigon at all. I just have Fire and Electric moves, both of which will not be very effective. So I'm going to go into my Nuragami to take the incoming special attack, and it's going to be a Draco Meteor. And I really just do not take that very well at all. So I'm starting to wonder, maybe, you know, this is a spec set, because that did so much damage, and this is a fully specially defensive Milotic with, max HP and special defense investment, and that just did a lot. So, I mean, I know Hydreigon is powerful, but that was just a lot of damage. So, he ends up staying in here. I go for the recover, to get my health back up, knowing he can't do too much to me back because of the special attack drop. But he stays in and goes for another Draco Meteor. So now he's at -4. And I'm like, this is definitely Specs, because that still did pretty good damage even at -2. So now he's going to switch out. I mean, he's kind of forced to here, or he would end up losing Hydreigon eventually. So he's going to go into his Crobat here, and I just go for the Scald, figuring maybe I can get a burn off on something that comes in, and I do get the burn off on Crobat, which is good. I mean, it could have been, better and have it be on Scizor, but because Crobat isn't really so much of an attacking Pokemon. This one might have, Brave Bird and U-Turn for attacks, and then, I don't know, maybe like Toxic and Roost, maybe, or something similar to that, or Taunt and Roost. So, yeah, it looks like he has Taunt. Forgot about that. So, I'm going to bring in my Gliscor here, and he's going to get taunted, so I'm like, that kind of sucks, because now I can't Toxic anything, I can't use Protect, and it's not really worth switching out again right after this, because I've been switching a lot. So I get my Toxic Orb, activated, and now Crobat is going to go for a U-turn, and now U-turn is doing just piss poor damage because of the burn. It really wouldn't have done anything to Gliscor anyway, just because he resists it, but just in general, I don't have to worry about U-turn too much anymore. So I'm going to go for the knockoff here, and it ends up knocking off his leftover, so now I know for sure that Venusaur is going to be his Mega in this battle. So, I mean, I kind of would rather have it be Scizor, because Mega Venusaur is just super, super tanky. He's just a pain in the ass to take out, so that'll be coming up. But I'm going to bring in Mega Manectric here and get the Intimidate off, so he's only going to be at +1 even after the Swords Dance, which is good for me. I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt, thinking he's probably going to switch out, but he doesn't switch out. He takes the Thunderbolt, he lives it, and he gets paralyzed, goes for the X-Scizor, and yeah, Sparks has no chance of living that. That probably would have killed even if he didn't have +1, because Scizor is just that powerful. So I'm going to go into my Infernape now, and he's going to try to go for a Bullet Punch. He's paralyzed and can't move. I don't really think that mattered too much, because, Infernape resists the hit. I'm thinking maybe it would have done like a quarter of my health, so it's not that big of a deal. Because initially I was like, oh, that really sucks, because I got the paralysis off of Thunderbolt, which sucks, and then right after that, he was paralyzed and couldn't move. But now that I think about it, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It could have been a lot worse. So I'm going to go back into Gliscor here, and yeah, he's going to go for the Brave Bird, and with my defense investment and the fact that he's burned, yeah, Nightwing just eats that up like a champ. So, the good thing here now is that Nightwing is no longer taunted. I'm expecting him to try to taunt me, but I could go for a Protect if I really wanted to. He ends up just going for a U-turn, though, which is cool, I guess. I mean, I thought he might try to taunt me there. I mean, at this point, he doesn't know what my other moves are on Gliscor, but I feel like Gliscor is kind of predictable. So he's going to go into Hydreigon here. Hydreigon looks really cool, shiny. Just have to say, I love the purple. So I go for the knockoff. I get a crit. It's not very effective, but I knock off his Choice Specs. So that does a couple of things. It lowers his power. I was kind of suspecting that this thing was going to be Choice Specs either way. But now he can switch moves, which is a little bit more advantageous for him at this point. But he's just going to go for the Draco Meteor, so he might just switch out after this. So I go into Nuragami to take that, because he took it kind of okay last time. I mean, not really okay, but I don't have anything else on my team that, wants to take a Draco Meteor. So, he gets the special attack drop, and now I can safely go for a recover, because he's going to switch out into Volcarona. And this one's shiny too. So many shiny Pokemon, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Volcarona is just a beast in the sun. And the sun isn't even up, it doesn't matter. You can still just go for quiver dances, and yeah, that's just not fun. This thing can easily set up sweeps. Thankfully, this Milotic has Dragon Tail so I can get rid of this thing before it accumulates too many boosts. And I end up doing that on the first turn. I'm not wasting any time. I do not want to get this thing or let it get set up because there's really nothing on my team that can stop it. So need to get it out of there. And yeah, go for the Dragon Tail, and that's going to bring Hydreigon back in. And this thing is just really worn down. It doesn't really have any way to recover its HP, I don't think. Pretty sure Choice Spec set would not be running Roost. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So he's just going to switch out here instead of leaving him in to die. You know, he can probably fodder that off at some other point. And he's going to go into Venusaur, and we haven't seen Venusaur yet. I go for the Scald, and that's not very effective, and I was hoping for the burn, but, you know, I already got the burn off on Crobat earlier, so I can't just expect to get that lucky all the time. And unfortunately, I'm burned. The one advantage to that, though, is that it activates Milotic's ability Marvel Scale and increases my defense as long as I'm burned. So that's kind of okay with me. And I'd rather have Milotic be burned than poisoned, you know, with Toxic or something. So, anywho, he's gonna Mega Evolve his Venusaur here. And I've been dreading this thing because I don't really have anything to stop it, honestly. So he goes for the Petal Blizzard, thinking, you know, that would just absolutely rape Milotic, but I ended up switching out into Trevenant to take that. He took that very nicely, and Trevenant is my physical wall on this team, and I go for the Will-O-Wisp, but, you know, he switches into Hydreigon, who's already paralyzed, so, yeah, that does absolutely nothing. So, instead of taking a Dark Pulse and dying in one hit, I'm going to switch back into Noragami to take another special hit, and Noragami has just been doing some serious work in this match. He's, you know, gotten quite a few Scalds off. He's burned Crobat. He's absorbed every hit that this Hydreigon has thrown at it, even when it had specs. I'm very happy with the way Milotic has, you know, performed in this battle. And honestly, I think it's kind of overlooked. I never really thought of it as such a good Pokemon, but it has not failed me yet, and I've used it in quite a few battles. So I don't know. Don't know. So, yeah, I go for the Scald there, and of course it's not very effective, and doesn't kill him, and he goes for the Dark Pulse again, and that almost kills me with the burn damage, but I'm able to get a Recover off because I'm faster than him after the paralysis, and he can't move the turn that I go for the Recover, so I kind of got a free one off there, and yeah, maybe I got a little bit lucky at that point. But now he's just going to let Hydreigon die. He doesn't want to switch in something and then possibly get a burn with Scald. And I do not blame him for that. And it's just not worth having potential fodder later on if he needs it. And I think that was a good play by him to just, you know, give up on Hydreigon, get a safe switch, you know, and get set up with what you want to do. So now he's going to go back into his Venusaur. And I'm like, crap, Noragami cannot really do anything. And he's trying to bait me into a switch here. So he switches immediately back into Volcarona. And I actually didn't fall for it. I stayed in, went for the Scald. And that does some pretty good damage to this Volcarona. And I'm like, that is awesome. I can't outspeed it and kill it before it gets a Quiver Dance off, which is unfortunate. Because Quiver Dance also raises special defense. So with that buff, you know, he would be able to survive a Scald and then kill me off. But this thing has Roost, so this is actually a pretty cool set. It does have Quiver Dance and Roost, so, you know, it can recover off the damage it takes while it boosts up. So just a cool set. So I go for another Scald, and he takes that, you know, kind of sort of okay. It's going to be a 2-hit KO, regardless. The only advantage that he has, you know, is that he's going to be faster than me and that I'm also burned. So I'm taking a little bit of damage each turn, you know, even considering the leftovers. So now he's going to go for the Quiver Dance. And I don't really have anything that I can do except Dragon Tail him. But I really just want to kill him at this point. So what I decided to do is go for the Toxic because that's just going to work in my favor to slowly whittle this thing down and force him to use Roost more often. And now that he has a Quiver Dance up, though, it would make the most sense for me to either try to kill him right away or phase him out before he gets too many boosts. And, you know, just worry about the Toxic wearing him down when he comes back in. And at least at that point, I should be able to wear him down a little bit more with something else because Milotic probably won't be in. But He outspeeds me. He goes for the Bug Buzz. I was going for the Dragon Tail on that turn to get rid of him, but to no avail there. So he takes out my Milotic finally, and I'm sure that thing was just so annoying to him because it was just a pain in the ass for his Pokemon in this battle. So he's probably relieved to get rid of it. Now I'm going to bring in my Infernape, and he goes for the Flamethrower. I'm pretty certain, that Infernape is a safe switch here, because even though he's pretty frail, I'm guessing that his only attack moves are going to be a Fire and Bug move, so I can go for the Fire Punch. I did not take that Flamethrower very nicely at all, but I was able to get the kill, and that's what mattered, because that would have been a sweep coming up. So I avoided the crisis, so to speak. So Crobat comes in now, and I need to switch because he's just going to go for a Brave Bird. And even though, he's burned, it's still going to be super effective. And I only had like 30-something HP, so I'm like, nope, not going to mess around with that. I need Infernape to be able to, damage Mega Venusaur. So I'm going to go into my Gliscor to take that Brave Bird. It does practically nothing, and I recovered just about all of the damage that was taken from it with Poison Heal, so that's awesome. And he's going to taunt me, and I'm like, okay, figured that was coming, so I just went for the knockoff. There was really no reason for me to do anything else. I knock off his Black Sludge, and, finally get back up to full health, so the Brave Bird just really didn't scratch me at all. And Crobat's going to go down to the burn damage here. So now we're just down to Venusaur. And that's not really that much of a relief to me, honestly, because this thing could just put me to sleep. It could sweep my team, and I don't really have anything except Infernape to handle it. And with Thick Fat reducing the power of Fire-type moves, that's not really a reliable thing. So he goes for a Swords Dance on the first turn. And now he's going to go for Petal Blizzard. So I'm guessing that's his only attacking move. So I go for a Will-O-Wisp thinking, I'm going to burn this thing. That'll be good game. It misses. He goes for another Petal Blizzard. Still not very effective. Gets me down into the red zone and go for another Will-O-Wisp. And that misses as well. And now he's going to be able to kill Trevenant. I can't do anything about it. This thing's holding a Lumberry because it's a rest set, not a subseeding Citrus Berry set. So I'm like, shit. Now what do I do? That could be good game, or close to it. Even though I have 2 Pokemon left, there's not really anything I can do. So he's going to go for another Swords Dance to try to break through Gliscor. And I'm going to go for the Earthquake. I really don't have anything else I can do. Knockoff doesn't do shit to Mega Venusaur. I can't Toxic it. And my only other move is Protect. So he goes for Petal Blizzard. It doesn't kill me. And I go for the Earthquake. And it's going to get him down into the red zone with a crit, which, I don't know, I felt kind of bad about that one. That was a little bit too well-timed, and now I'm going to go for the Earthquake again, and that's going to kill him off. I don't think it would have mattered too much at that point, because even if I didn't get the crit, I'm pretty sure from that health that Infernape could have come in and gone for the Fire Punch and knocked Mega Venusaur out. I'm not positive about that. It would have been close with Thick Fat. It would have been really close. So that crit was unfortunate on his part. But nonetheless, definitely came down to the wire. Definitely an awesome match. It was a nail biter. I remember this was just really back and forth. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do about that Mega Venusaur. So, and this actually inspired me to work on my own a little bit. Because I had one and I haven't really used it. But I was like, this thing really has some potential. I mean, it can be such a powerhouse, tankish Pokemon, if you use it right. So, yeah, maybe in one of the upcoming battles you'll see my own Mega Venusaur. I run a little bit of a different set, but that's that. So, great match, Poli. Definitely a great match. We'll have to do it again at some point once we get some new teams and new Pokemon, bred and worked up and all that stuff. But, yeah, I'll link all his stuff down in the description below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Game on!